Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 playthrough with the Cubs. We're in the 2023 season, and things aren't going great. They're not going good. They're not even going decent. That's how bad this season's been. I think when I left off last episode, we had gone through the first month of the season. We're playing pretty rough. I think we're maybe 5-6 games below 500 to start. And I was like, well, let me see if we can turn it around. And I'll come back maybe after the draft and hopefully we'll be in better shape, but we weren't. And so we're actually all the way to the All-Star break. We're 8 games under 500, and we were starting to show some life again. But now we just finished a 3-game series against the Cardinals on the road, and they are looking like, well, with Cincinnati, those two teams have been consistently good all year. So, that shows you what the preseason predictions can sometimes be worth. I think they had the Cardinals finishing last. So we just haven't had any type of good luck at all this year. And I hate to go out a loser. I've already decided that this will be my last year in this playthrough. I want to move on to a different challenge, but I don't see any way of turning this team around. The only good upside, if there is any, is that outside of that first wild card, which right now is probably going to go down to who loses the Central between the Reds and the Cardinals, but at the very least, it looks like the second spot, wild card spot, is competitive enough that if you finish around 500 or a little over 500, you may have a chance. But even for that, I mean, we're 5 games below that. We'd have to win like 10 in a row, get a real good streak going, and we're just not having it. But I'm going to start off this episode. While we're here, we'll look at how the league's going, and then I'll take a look at the team and show you kind of what I've been up against. But if we look at the American League, Guerrero, just right off the top there, he's having a great year. He hasn't won in this playthrough. He hasn't won an MVP yet. This might be the year he does. He's definitely having a great season. Although Mike Trout, 4-time MVP award winner, he's leading the league in wins above replacement and on pace for 10.5 if he keeps it up. So it may not go to Guerrero this year, but he's having a good year. Alvarez, who I've mentioned before in this playthrough and the Phillies one that I've gone, this guy's a home run hitting machine. He finished that playthrough with over 700 for his career. He's already over 200 in this one. He's just 25. He's having a great year. Pitching-wise, Bieber, already 12 wins with Cleveland. This is the kind of pitcher I wish we had on our team right now, but we don't. Well, we do. I'll take that back. Syndergaard is pretty good, but we're just not getting the run support that he needs. But that's for looking at the individual players in the American League. In terms of teams, Tampa Bay really not running away with it, but they're having a good season. It looks like Toronto, those young players that Toronto's been developing over the years, are starting to pay off for them in this playthrough. Cleveland, a big lead in the Central over Kansas City. It's good to see them competitive again. And then Houston, another big lead for them in the West. Although, hey, Angels are playing better and Houston's struggling. That might get interesting down the stretch. In the National League, it's been competitive in that Eastern Division. You see, the Braves have kind of gotten some room, but throughout the year, it's been all 5 teams have been within 3, 4, 5 games at most of the National League East lead. So that's going to be interesting to see how that one goes down. Central, it's probably going to just be these 2 teams duking it out, unless Cincinnati's kind of gone through a rough streak here. And again, until we got to St. Louis, we were playing good. We were back within 5 games of 500. So we can do something down the stretch and get close, but looks like those 2 teams are going to be it in the Central, and then the Dodgers just running away in the West. Individually, we don't have anything really positive to speak of. Brendan Davis has had hit streak. He's finally, after a slow start, starting to play like he did last year. I do think this guy is going to be a probably a middle of the road type, consistently good 2 to 3 wins above replacement type player. He might surprise me. He's just 23, about to turn 24. He might see some development and turn into a 4-star player, which would get him up just a little bit better. But at the moment, I think he's valuable. He's just not going to be a superstar, I wouldn't think. Individually, Albie's having a good year. Bryce Harper, 32 home runs in Philadelphia. He's having a good year. This is, though, the most disappointing thing I can say now. I said, man, I wish I had a pitcher like Bieber. Syndergaard is leading the league in wins above replacement. He has 4 wins, on pace for 7. You look at his numbers; they're good all across the board. But like his fielding, independent pitching, I should probably have memorized that by now. Below 3 for the second year in a row. The guy's just really worth what I gave for him. He has just been one of the toughest luck pitchers I've ever seen. Fielding independent pitching is, I just had to look it up. He has not gotten a win since May. And that is no lie. He has not gotten a win since, and that was early May. So we're into July. Just crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen a run that bad for a pitcher. To be leading the league in wins above replacement, having so many good numbers, and you've got 4 wins at the All-Star break. That's crazy. But that's kind of the story of this team. If I look at like individual on the pitching staff, I mean, we've been dealing with some injuries. We got Tyson Miller in there, for instance, starting right now in the 4th spot because Sonny Gray's out. Elledge has been terrible. I don't know why I'm still playing him, honestly. An 8.59 ERA, 183 WHIP. I don't know what's happened to this guy. One of the best relievers the last couple years. I think it may not show it here, but he was 3rd or 4th in the voting for reliever of the year last year, and this year just totally opposite. Poppin doing pretty decent. Even Hendricks on this staff is looking better, but we got a couple guys in the negative. But Rasmussen, again, one of the better relievers I had on the team last year. Terrible this year. I moved Vasquez into the closer role. He's got a little bit of a mild injury right now. Hopefully that won't hurt him. But I do think at the end of the day he's a better closer than Adams, but he's not doing too much better. Outside of Syndergaard, though, and Banda, we are a so-so staff. Barrios was not the big pick I thought he was going to be. I mean, he's going to get double digits in wins, hopefully above 200 strikeouts, but he's not been performing all that well. I think maybe lately, I say lately, but he had a bad May, and that's inflated his numbers for the most part, but he hasn't been that great. So that's the big problem pitching. If I look at the lineup side, Caratini, he's not having the year he had last year. He's got an option year, so if I were going to continue with this team, I would probably void his contract, that team option for next year, and let Hernandez, even who's just 25, a better defender. He would probably be good in the starting lineup as well for catching. But Rizzo has been decent. Horner's had a great year. I do think he is settled in, and it's going to probably be, again, with Brendan Davis, not a superstar player, but an average 2, 3, maybe even 4 wins above replacement type player year to year. Segura looking good in his free agent year. Clement, just a great backup. I'm giving him more time at shortstop because Rojas is the disappointment. His defense is so-so at shortstop. His zone rating, you can see, negative 3.9. He's not a good defender. I do think I need to find an upgrade for him. And then, I mean, you got Dickerson, who wants to get more starting time, but I think Hazley is playing much better. Roederer is in there, a prospect who I think has a great chance at being the future center fielder here, but he's having to play for NCRT. He is looking incredible, hitting over 400. I don't know what I'm going to do when NCRT is really healthy because, that's been the story with him all year, and I'd like to get Roederer more time. So he may keep that center field job, and I might just move Barrera or may trade Dickerson. Something to think about. But let's take a look at the All-Star rosters. I don't expect we're going to see too many Cubs, if any. Shane Bieber leading the way in pitching, looks like. And then, no, Ohtani got more votes. He's not having a great year pitching-wise. Batting-wise, decent. Not a great year there either. But for the National League, do we have any Cubs? Yeah, Syndergaard, guy's got some votes. I mean, he's in there. Elledge, why? I don't know. I guess he's popular, but he does not deserve to be an all-star. That's crazy. So we got 2 Cubs in that pitching staff, and on the offensive side, I'm not seeing anybody. So no offensive players. Looks like the Phillies have quite a few. I'm sure Atlanta has a few with Acuna and Albies, but Freddie Freeman. But just disappointing so far. Albies, in fact, was Player of the Week. And let's see. So what's kind of been mystifying to me, if I look at the team stats, we're really good offensively. It's the pitching that's really costing us the season. It's disappointing because I put so much money into the pitching in the last few years with Syndergaard and now Berrios. I don't really have a whole lot of value outside of the one player I'm going to be talking about here in this playthrough to really make a difference and to pick up somebody who's going to turn it around for us. I think 1 through 3 were set. I mean, Berrios has got to be in the mix there, 1 to 3, because of his numbers. But the 4th and 5th spot, we could be due an upgrade. Honeywell, since he came off, he's had a few good starts here in July. He was injured for a while. Sonny Gray, who is in Iowa right now and ready to come back, actually. It's just he has not looked good either. So I'm probably going to call him up, though, and put him back in that rotation for now until I figure out what I need to do. But the bullpen, I just don't know how to fix it. I mean, let me take a look and see if it could be a pitching. Bench coach. Pitching coach he's rated as great. He just has a neutral focus is the only problem. But we had a great year with him last year, so I don't think that's the problem. I just think it's some weird kind of performance thing that's going on. Ratings-wise, on the pitching staff, the guys who are having 2 of the worst years, really, Rasmussen and Elledge, they're rated better than anybody. So, this Rasmussen, He's rated to be a middle innings reliever. That's the problem. The movement and control is just not good enough for him. And then Elledge, I mean, my scout thinks he should be a closer, but he's so against lefties. Boy. So I think, if I were going to improve the pitching staff, I think I'd still want to look at what I can do in that starting rotation. I mean, I've already said the dilemma with Hendricks, and I shouldn't really care because, I'm not going to be here with this playthrough after this year. But here's the dilemma. He's got that team option for $16 million. If I were to go and release him right now, well, you know what? I could probably do that. I was under the impression I'd have to eat his team option. So if that's the case, I could release him real quick. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll pay now. It's no big deal. $5 million, not that big a deal. But now, who would I bring up to take his place? I would probably bring Tyson Miller back in, even though he hasn't looked that great. I'd put him in long relief and emergency starting just to see if he plays a little bit better. Oh, boy, he's terrible against lefties, though. But Abbott, when I brought him up, he looked really bad. I don't think he's going to hang on to any decent ratings here to stay competitive. But the one that I can trade right off the bat, I'm pretty sure, is going to be Burleson, number 6 prospect, 5-star potential for OSA. And I like Hazley as a left fielder. I don't know why he's not rated left field, but I like him better as a left fielder anyway, long term. And age-wise, he's just 27, so I got some time. Burleson's defense scares me. And, the contact and the avoiding Ks are great, but in the middle there, that doesn't look too good either. Which means you're probably going to see a few home runs, but not a lot of extra base hits. And you can kind of see that with what he's doing in Iowa this year. I mean, on pace for 24 doubles. I mean, he had a better year in Double-A previously, but just 14 home runs. He's not a game changer, but as long as OSA has him rated as high as they do, I'm hoping that I can get some value for him. So let me go ahead and shop him around. And again, it's mainly going to be pitching that I'm going to be looking at here. And for him to be as high a prospect as he is, I'm really not seeing that much. I mean, Carlos Martinez really overvalued or overpriced, $16 million. Ian Anderson, he's looking okay, but I mean in AAA, but he's not really a great prospect. Jackson Kowar, not seeing much there either. Patrick Weigel. I mean, I was really hoping for something a little bit better than this. Logan Allen got great personality ratings, but his pitching ratings are so. Peter Lambert, no. Come on, there's got to be somebody in here that's worth or something. Mm-mm. Pretty good second base prospect, I guess, there from Houston. That's really about the best prospect potentially I've seen in this list. So I guess so much for this. I'm not going to really get much, I don't think, to really help us out off the bat. Dennis Santana, no, nothing there. I really don't think I need offensive help. I mean, if you looked at our team stats, I mean, we're top 5 in just about, gosh, most of the categories outside of power, so that's not going to be a problem. I mean, OSA thinks this guy's decent, but Clark Schmidt, Trevor Rogers, he's fragile. That always scares me off. Tyler Baum, pretty decent potential for my scout anyway. Sean Mania. Problem I'm having with him is his ratings against righties are very bad. Victor Arano, he might be a decent bullpen guy. I guess he could replace, man, I don't know who he could replace at this point. I guess Tyson Miller, maybe move him down. I wonder how Tyson Miller, if I just set him as a reliever. Yeah, he's pretty good. I tell you, long story short, I'm not seeing hardly anything that's making me think I've got to trade that guy right now. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, so I mean, here's a decent catching prospect, but well, his defensive ratings are off. Adrian Hauser, pretty good bullpen guy. Signed long term though. I don't think he's worth that much. Sean Reed Foley, 4 strong pitches, but control is off. Wow. All right, so I'm not going to get anything for him. So the next thing would be Dickerson. Maybe one of these teams who are competing for the playoffs could use this guy. I mean, he's got a great bat still for his age. And he's cheap. I mean, I'm only giving him, I think, under $2 million, if I'm not mistaken. He's more of a known commodity, if that makes any difference. Okay, so Baumgartner, Arizona really wants to get rid of him, and Martinez. They've really got some upside down contracts there. Foltynewicz, he's struggling at Atlanta. Iglesias, that movement's too bad. Luke Jackson, don't like his control. Otherwise, he might be a good bullpen guy. Carlos Rodon, he's struggling. Jose Leclerc, man, there's just nothing coming up here. Drew Pomerantz, it's a lot of money for him too. Although the money doesn't scare me so much. If I was really going to see a big impact, but I'm not seeing anything. Oh, now Selman, he's having a terrible year though. He's having kind of the year that Elledge and Rasmussen are having. Trevor Williams. We're getting to the end of the list here, and nothing's really showing up that's going to help me immediately. Miles Nicholas, he's really Nicholas. He's struggling. So I think, let me look at the trading block. I mean, do we have any reliever here that would help us? Chapman. Man, he is expensive. Brad Hand, a good lefty reliever. He's a free agent after this year. Now, I do need a lefty for sure. I mean, I could get him and probably put him in there for Tyson Miller and just do without a long guy at the moment. All right, so let me go back up there and see if there's anybody else. I mean, Hand does appeal to me. He's exhausted right now, but let me see. What would they take for him? I mean, we got a lot of options here. Corey Abbott, I mean, I could just take a pick in some of these guys. I would probably... I mean, would I trade Honeywell? Man, I think I need him too much. I think I would easily trade Ademan because he's only going to be a bench type player. He's got good speed. But, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. And I think... I will do that. I will take Miller down, and I'll put Brad Hand as the lefty specialist and probably set up. And let's see, in case I needed it, I think I would have Rasmussen maybe starting. All right, so that's step one. Let me go back and see if there are any starting pitchers that would be worth taking a look at. I mean, Aaron Nola for a year. What would the Phillies take for him? Looks like too much. I mean, if I wanted to give up on Barrios, I could do it. Don't really want to give up on him right now. All right, so that's too much for him. Who else is in that starting pitcher slot? Minaya. I mean, just some so-so guys. Senzatella. I don't think he's any better than what I've got. Severino, a borderline starter, but I think he really doesn't have a third pitch like he needs, and it's showing in his numbers. So no real starters there that would make me pull the trigger. So let's go ahead and get through the All-Star game. I mean, Corey Dickerson, he's really wanting to be traded, but again, I just I don't see anything to really I'll just take his hit. I think to his personality. I'm hardly paying him anything, and just don't think it's worth it at the moment. Although I do have the dilemma of what to do now that Inciarte's healthy again, because Roederer is really playing well. Barrera's not. But I'm going to do it again. I want to give Roederer play time. I think that's more important. So now Inciarte is going to get back in the starting lineup. And let's see what we got for this next week. And on the road against Pittsburgh, we win the first one 3-2 in extra innings. Inciarte 3 for 5. Dude's hitting 420 on the year. Syndergaard, can you believe this? 8 innings, 1 earned run, and doesn't get the win again. In game 2, a 3-0 shutout. Segura, Clement, 3 hits for them. Dickerson, 2 hits. I mean, he's performing when he's playing. Barrios, a complete game shutout. That's why I signed that guy. And now game 3, can we sweep Pittsburgh? No, 7-9. Pitching let us down in this one. Some good offense from several guys here. Barrera, who's been struggling, had a good game. But Banda got knocked around a little bit, so that's upsetting. Looking at the news, I'm not really seeing any. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any. Man, they traded him to Baltimore. I'm not really seeing any trade offers right now. So it's like, I think that's a bad sign too, because I don't really have anything that anybody wants. But we did move up a little bit in the weekly rankings. Again, let me get through this week and see if, Anthony Rizzo's out. All right, so I'm pretty sure I don't have any first baseman to call up here. Young. He's actually looking pretty good in AAA, but I don't feel like he's got the ratings to compete. So that kind of gives me a little bit of an option here with, I mean, he's going to be terrible defensively, but I could put Dickerson in there at first. Hernandez backing him up. And put him there, and Hernandez backing up. And once again, same deal. Play him at first. And then that'll let me bring Roederer back up, or do I want to bring Burleson up? Because I like Roederer for his defense as well. He's got good speed. Yeah, I'm going to call Roederer up. He's been performing better. And what I'll do is I'll put him as the backup for Inciarte. Even though Inciarte is playing good. And then have him back up Dickerson, who's not there anymore, or he's playing first. And I also have Roederer be the top pinch hitter off the bench. know he's probably not rated. Yeah, he's still not bad against lefties. And I will let him get some time there and left, even though he's not too solid defensively. Against lefties. Didn't mean to do that. So this is what I was kind of thinking about. Do I want Roederer as the DH and just have him bat in that ninth spot? I tell you what, let's let him DH against lefties. And just see how it turns out for a while. All right, so going to be on the home against Washington for 3. Lose the first one 7-2. Sonny Gray, 6 innings, 5 earned runs. He's not looking good. Game 2, 7-5. A win's a win. We're 7 games under 500. Horner, Davis, Rojas, 4 hits here. Caratini, good offense from them. Honeywell, not so good. Vasquez got the save. There may have been a trade proposal here that came through from San Francisco. Not going to help me out. All right, game 3. Can we win the series? We do. 3-1. Good pitching performance. Syndergaard finally. 5th win of the year. Still not on pace for double digits. Hopefully he'll pick that up as the year goes on. That's incredible. So now we're going up against San Francisco at home. They're struggling as well. We're 6 games below 500. And we win the first one 7-2, but Berrios is going to be out for 6 games. That sucks. Offensively, though, Inciarte, man, a lot of good offensive performances here. And then the bullpen had a great game here. Berrios gave up the only 2 runs. Bullpen was solid. And now game 2 against San Francisco. We got a trade proposal, but it's expired. 3-2, close one. Dickerson 3 for 4, drove in a couple. Hazley, who's been solid this year, having a pretty good year. Banda got his 9th win, so he's leading the team, I think, in wins. Hand may have been his first. No, he's pitched for us already, but a good outing from him. All right, so getting close to that trading deadline, and we sweep San Francisco 7-2. Dickerson liking that starting lineup. 3 for 4, drove in 3. Davis 3 RBIs for him. Sonny Gray finally a decent outing. So another trade proposal from Detroit. Danny Duffy. They that's not going to help us at all. And they're wanting Giardo. Is that it? Man, they're wanting to give a lot of guys away. Or they're wanting to get a lot of guys for Danny Duffy. That's just not going to happen. Boy, that's crazy. All right, so players of the week: Tellez, Tatis. Weekly power rankings were now up to 10th after that week, and 3 games below 500. And like I said, we're now 4.5 back from that second spot. But it's, now we got 2 teams playing well in the East and 2 teams playing well in Central. So it's going to be harder than it was when I started the episode. But that's the only chance I got. I've got to be able to play well enough to catch that second wild card spot. And we have had a great July, 15-8. And it's mainly the offense, but you see starters ERA looks to be a little bit better than it was. I'm hoping Ham was a big pickup for the bullpen. I think I'm stuck having to make the run with what I have. And Rasmussen, minimal injury there, but what does it matter? He's just been really pathetic. So that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and just finish it out, I think, with this team. I need somebody who's going to make a difference now, but I don't want to, like if I'm looking at that trading block, I think the one who would make the biggest difference is, if he's still there, would be Aaron Nola. But, again, I do not want to give away any of these guys to get him. I mean, I guess Elledge, with the way he's pitching, might not be a bad idea, but he's better than that. I think the numbers, the ratings are just too good for him to be pitching like this, so I think he's due to have a good streak sooner or later. That's what I'm banking on anyway. He's unhappy, but his morale's because, well, he's rolling the team. I mean, would it be worth trading a guy like that? I mean, that's the question. Because you're only going to lose this year, really. So I don't want to get rid of any of these guys. Davis, Banda. Elledge is due just a little over $1 million next year. But here's the thing. Even though this is my last year at this playthrough, and I could probably just say, hey, I don't really care what happens, but I'm only going to have Nola for half a year. And if I trade Elledge away, if he turns out to be the reliever that he's been the last couple of years, then he's gone for good. And I just can't do it. I guess my conscience won't let me do that, because I think if we were closer to that wild card spot, if we were like, or if we were like a game or two ahead, and I wanted to hang on to it, I would do it. But now, I still got to play this like this is my team, and I'm wanting to win, but I'm also wanting to set us up for the future. The goal right now, I mean, he's an economizer. I think it's, what does it say? Front office? Does it tell? Yeah, I mean, the team focus is to win now. I think I'm going to give it a little bit more deliberation offline. And if I convince myself that that'll be enough to put us into that last wild card spot, I'll pull the trigger. But if not, I'll move ahead and hope that the players we got start playing a little bit better on that pitching staff. But that'll do it for this episode. I'm going to go through until we get to the last month of the season, to the roster expansion time, and I'll come back and finish it out and see if we can perform really a miracle at this point and get back into the playoffs. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode.